Hey guys, it's your girl, Kelsey Nicole. So testimony continued in the Tory Lanez trial today, with jurors being able to hear Kelsey Nicole's full interview with prosecutors that she did back in September. Now, the judge has already said that they cannot use this as evidence to convict Tory of anything, as Kelsey is admitting that she lied about the entire story. And after hearing it, I don't think that they would have been ever able to rely on it to convict Tory of anything anyway. If anything, it makes Kelsey's now testimony of lying to protect herself from incriminating herself more believable. Now, the judge is allowing the jurors to hear the full interview due to Kelsey Nicole telling the defense that she felt pressured to talk to the prosecutors, and that's why she had said all of these things. Due to the prosecution trying to allege that Kelsey must have been compromised by the defense to now change her stance. So prosecutors are just trying to show that they did not pressure her to do anything, and Kelsey did all of this on her own. So prosecutors want to know, why did she bother to lie to them at all if she's also claiming that she did not do the shooting? What made her tell them that Tory had shot at Meg, tried to approach Meg after and abused her? Like, are you trying to say that you were pressured by the prosecutors to lie? Because you really didn't have to come in there and tell them anything different than what you're sitting up here telling them on the stand now, which you're basically not incriminating you or Tory in anything at all. So why lie in the first place? So in Kelsey's interview with prosecutors in September, she told them that after they had stopped the car so that Megan could get out, Tory told Kelsey to get out too, so she did. Tory then goes to the front seat of the car and starts shooting over top of the front passenger door, which is a contradiction to Megan's testimony that she saw Tory shooting at her from out of the rear passenger door where Kelsey had been sitting. Tory had been aiming at Megan and pointing the gun down. She doesn't hear him say anything like, "Dance, be dance." And interestingly enough, Megan had never said this publicly either when telling her story. We only ever heard "dance be dance" after Tory's preliminary hearing in December of 2021, where he claims that Megan said Tory said this, but nobody else had heard it but Megan. And even more interesting is that I found this "dance be dance" story leaked to Complex by a source obviously close to Megan back in September of 2020. Damn near a year before that preliminary hearing in December 2021 with Detective. So who was leaking things to blogs, lying and covering their ass again? Megan or Tory?
You shot me, and you got your publicists and your people going to these blogs lying and shit. Stop lying.
Kelsey goes on to explain how she saw Tory Lanez shoot Megan Thee Stallion. She explains how Megan exits the vehicle. She hears and she gets out the car following Megan because she was told to get out the car by Tory Lanez. She exits the vehicle. Megan is ahead of her. She hears the first 3 shots ring out. She turns around. She sees Tory on the passenger front side, lean over the car door, firing the last 2 shots. Megan turns around. She freezes. The look on her face, as Kelsey describes, is like a deer looking into a headlight. Afterwards, she sees Tory moving towards Megan. She jumps into defense mode. She approaches. She kind of gets in front of Megan, and Tory and Kelsey starts fighting, or the way she described it, he starts assaulting her. Now, this is far different than what she testified to yesterday. She testified she couldn't remember. But the other thing that was we never heard before was what happened next. Apparently, there was 2 instances of assault. When she got back in, she raced back into the vehicle, jumped in the driver's seat, jerked the car to get Tory's attention. Tory runs over, grabs her by the hair. They're tussling, and she says she kind of cowered down and said, "Tory, what are you doing?" And he releases her. They all get back in the car. Tory gets in the front passenger seat. Megan gets in the back driver's seat, and Kelsey gets behind Tory.
So let's pause here. Kelsey has had some time now to pay attention to everything that has been said so far publicly in Tory's case, and probably through her attorney. And it's clear that she was repeating things that she had heard to try and corroborate the Tory shot Megan narrative, but she still failed miserably, furthering the belief that she is telling the truth now when she says that she lied about all of these things, because it's obvious that she did. Because first of all, her story makes no sense, and it contradicts the victim, who is Megan's, story. Megan can't seem to remember any of these things Kelsey is saying in her interview with detectives, and they both still keep denying a fight between each other, no matter who they talk to or if they're up there on the stand. A fight between her and Megan apparently never happened, if we go by their statements. On top of that, Megan's version of events closer matches the witness's version of events. And all these texts sent from Kelsey this night and these random leaked accounts of what occurred that could have only been said by Kelsey were nothing but breadcrumbs that Kelsey was planting around just in case she was indeed named as the shooter, which is further proven throughout the rest of this interview with prosecutors. So remember that Kelsey was under the impression that they were all just rocking with this Megan stepped on glass story, because that's what she was told by Megan's team. And then Tory was made to believe that that was the case too, because that was the original narrative when he got locked up, until Rock Nation called, told him not to make any statements. And then the next thing you know, there's the story about Megan being shot, but she's not naming a shooter. So then Megan comes out and says she was shot, and it wasn't glass, without naming either one as the shooter. And she does nothing to expel the rumors circulating about both Tory and Kelsey being the shooter. And Kelsey admits that this is what made her mad, because Megan was not protecting her. And she didn't understand why, because she hadn't betrayed her yet. And she was allowing people to think that she took money, etc. So that's why she ran to make that post trying to deny that she was the shooter, which left Tory as the fall guy. Then when Megan came out and said that Tory was actually the shooter, everybody started wondering how come Kelsey wasn't backing Megan up. And this is when Kelsey alluded to all these lies being told and how she hadn't taken any hush money and she would tell her truth soon. Now, this was right after one of Megan's friends had came out claiming that Kelsey was whack for not backing Megan up, when Kelsey had came to her herself and told her that Tory had shot Megan over a petty fight and then had physically assaulted Kelsey, and they were going to have to pay her to talk. And then claimed that Tory had called Kelsey. She made Kelsey ignore the call, to which Tory left a voicemail apologizing for shooting Meg, which they both listened to. So question, did prosecutors hear this voicemail? And did Kelsey ever tell them this part of the story? Or had Kelsey just repeated what Megan's friend had came out and told everybody Kelsey had said about this night? Now, funny how we keep hearing that Tory so-called apologized for shooting Megan on recorded phone calls, but yet not a single one has been produced as evidence of his guilt. Megan claimed that he did it, and now Megan's friend, which she heard through Kelsey, that Tory had apologized for shooting her on recording. So is the prosecution planning on asking Megan's friend about this call she allegedly heard?
Something else she's talked about was the fact that when this all took place, it was like she was being isolated from everybody. They told her to go back home. Megan said she'll pay for her to stay in a place in Houston for a year. And it was like they were trying to distance themselves from her, or perhaps even protecting her. And
bingo. And there you have it. Rock Nation was trying to protect their assets, It had nothing to do with protecting Kelsey, as they probably made her think was the case. And she figured this out when Megan let those rumors fly without saying one word. And this is when things changed for Kelsey, because she didn't really know what else to do. She had no protection, but Megan clearly had a whole team behind her running the show. And they were banking on Kelsey not wanting to expose herself and risk going to jail, which worked. Because Kelsey is still not saying what happened, that she's aware she can still be prosecuted later down the line if they find evidence to convict her outside of any testimony here. And if she confesses, trust and believe that they would be trying to make that case quick, fast, and in a hurry. So she will continue to deny it until she can't no more. Kelsey's testimony does nothing to help prosecutors, but it does everything to help prove the defense's side, as her and Megan's story about this night do not match in the least bit, and they both keep denying a fight between them ever occurred because it gives Kelsey motive. Megan was only looking out for her best interest, and that's obvious from the fact that she basically lied about everything concerning the before events of this night that makes her character look bad and makes the rumors of her being an out-of-control, reckless alcoholic true, which she clearly did not want given her newfound fame. Now, on top of all of that, all evidence seems to be pointing at Kelsey. There was female DNA found on the gun, but Kelsey's DNA was never tested for some reason. She had gun residue on her hands, there's witnesses who saw a fight that she keeps denying, and the gun was found in that front seat where the fight went down. And all we got for Tory is that he had gun residue on his hands and Megan naming him as the shooter. But seeing as how her and Kelsey's accounts of events don't match, and she's been caught lying from the very beginning of this case, plus Roc Nation's involvement from the very beginning, makes her and Kelsey unreliable witnesses, and their testimony is for damn sure not credible. Now, they are trying to find Quan to testify. He's the driver, but he seems to be unavailable. But at this point, they don't need him. Kelsey and Megan have done enough damage on their own, and there is no saving this case at this point. So with that said, stay tuned.